I want to hurt him.
Yeah.
That's my mentality right now going into this fight, is I really want to do damage. I wouldn't be taking this fight if I knew I didn't win.
Man, I really don't care. I mean, I'm excited. I dream about stuff like this, man. You know, it kind of give me chills now. You know what you said, Tim is the biggest of names. You know, he cool, but he's not the biggest of names. And
For main event, he's the biggest of names.
you know, he's the biggest names in Australia. You know what I'm saying?
The boxing world is locked in on one of the most anticipated matchups of the year, as Errol Spence Jr. and Tszyu finally sit down face-to-face ahead of their massive showdown. The interview delivered exactly what fans hoped for: intensity, confidence, and a growing sense of rivalry between two fighters with everything on the line. Every exchange carried weight, as both men made their intentions clear. While neither fighter backed down, the tension was impossible to ignore. With fight night approaching, this clash is beginning to feel bigger than ever.
Again, you got Errol Spence Jr. Give me your thoughts on Errol. You know, he's been out of the game, been away from the game. It'll be about 3 years when you guys fight that he had his last fight.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I think 3 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Especially at the sort of the peak years of your career.
Yeah.
Don't know how he's been looking after himself or what he's been doing. So, again, he's been one of the greatest fighters of this decade. You know, his results speak for themselves, and his only loss is against Crawford,
Right.
who is the greatest fighter of our decade.
Right.
You know, so it's a crazy challenge in front, but a challenge that I'm willing to take.
Tszyu made it clear that he believes activity and momentum could play a decisive role in this fight. The Australian star repeatedly pointed to his recent time in the ring, arguing that regular competition gives him an important edge over an opponent returning from an extended absence. Tszyu promised an aggressive approach from the opening moments and insisted he has no intention of easing into the contest. According to him, pressure will be the key weapon. His message was simple: he plans to test Spence immediately and force him into uncomfortable situations from the very first bell.
What makes you feel like you didn't take too much time off?
Because I was also active, and I was also active as far as, you know, playing soccer, training, playing soccer, and learning soccer. You know, going to the gym, you know, running around, just doing stuff, just being active. And, you know, a lot of the vices that I had in the past, you know, I don't drink anymore. So just a lot of stuff that was slowing me down, you know, it's not anymore. It's not being a vice. I'm more with my family. You know, if I'm not with my family, I'm probably training somewhere, or, you know, I'm probably traveling and seeing the world.
Errol Spence Jr. offered a different perspective on his time away from the sport, explaining that the break provided an opportunity to reset both mentally and physically. After years of championship battles, injuries, and personal challenges, he believes the time off helped him regain clarity and motivation. Spence emphasized that stepping away allowed him to heal, refocus, and reconnect with the hunger that fueled his rise to the top. Rather than viewing the layoff as a disadvantage, he sees it as a period that strengthened him. Now, he says he returns with renewed purpose and a fresh outlook on his career.
Spence Jr. coming back after a 3-year layoff. What's the thought process on that?
Coming back in Errol Spence form. Who else is coming back against someone who was just elite? We know that he's, you know, Tszyu is taking his steps back, you know, after the terror that he had in 23, 24, going into 2025. You know, he was on a literal terror. But Errol Spence going overseas, you know, going under the equator, you know, the down under. Yeah. You know, hostile territory, you know, and the list goes on. And as you heard what Errol said, you know, I've done this as a pro, Sheffield, England. I did this as an amateur, you know, Russia and Azerbaijan, a couple other countries, and my dad actually was in those countries with him.
I was about to say, your dad was with him.
Yeah. Errol's coming back the only way Errol could. I think that, you know, we heard him saying he might wake up one day and want to come back. I imagine that before this fight actually was made, he had woken up a lot of days and wanted to come back, and it just took some time for this thing to play out, right?
Former world champion Shawn Porter reacted to Spence's comeback announcement with admiration, noting that very few fighters would choose such a dangerous opponent after spending nearly 3 years outside the ring. Porter believes the decision reflects Spence's confidence and competitive mindset. He explained that most boxers would likely pursue a less demanding return bout before facing someone of Tszyu's caliber. Instead, Spence has gone directly toward one of the toughest available challenges. For Porter, that willingness to take risks speaks volumes about the former champion's mentality.
All-out war. I think a one-sided fight. I think he's going to give it everything that he has, but I'm definitely going to put on a great show and show the fans of Australia, show the world that Errol the True Spence is back, and y'all will respect me after this fight. And Tim will respect it.
Spence has consistently brushed aside concerns about ring rust, arguing that his absence from competition does not mean he has been inactive. He maintains that he has remained mentally engaged, physically prepared, and committed to staying sharp throughout his time away. The former champion believes critics are placing too much emphasis on the calendar and not enough on experience. According to Spence, elite skills do not simply disappear because of a layoff. He enters this fight convinced that he can still perform at the highest level and remind fans why he was once considered one of boxing's premier talents.
You get back in it. Derek James is out. Ronnie Shields is in. What prompted you to go to Ronnie Shields?
I definitely liked his past work, especially with Jamal. You know, he likes the Evander Holyfield and guys like that. But you know, he incorporates the jab. He incorporate more head movement, and no knock to Derek, but I feel like he took me as far as he could take me. Because if you study fights, if you look at myself in the amateurs and you look at me when I first started professional, what can you truly say that changed about me when I got older, when I'm 35, 34, and nothing changed. Like, I'm still doing the same thing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, same rhythm, still throwing my punches the same and everything. So I just feel like he got me to a certain level, and he had maxed out. He couldn't take me any further, and I feel like when I'm in the gym, Ronnie, it feels like it's just brand new, like I'm brand new at the gym.
Another major change in Spence's preparation has been his decision to work with respected trainer Ronnie Shields. Spence says the partnership has brought fresh energy to his training camp and helped reignite his enthusiasm for the sport. The new environment has allowed him to approach preparation from a different perspective while maintaining the strengths that made him a champion. He described the experience as both motivating and refreshing, with a renewed sense of focus. Spence believes the change could prove valuable when he steps back into the spotlight.
What do either have to do to come out victorious and not just become crossroad challengers from this point on?
I mean, I don't know what Tszyu has to do, and I don't care what Tszyu has to do, because I'm with Spence. So.
I know.
But I think for Errol, Errol just had to be Errol. You got to get back to what got him to where he's supposed to be. Errol, he has one defeat, and that's against Errol Crawford. But before then, people were avoiding him like the plague, because, he's just that good. So I think he just got to get himself back into shape and get himself positioned to where he can do things that he did before.
What have you seen from Errol on his way to this fight and coming back against Tszyu?
Well, just being in the gym with him, we was in the gym for like 3-4 days together, and, everything's looking good. He's feeling good, and he's trying to just recapture.
Ronnie Shields has focused heavily on refining the fundamentals that help make Spence one of boxing's most respected fighters. Rather than attempting to reinvent him, the goal has been to sharpen existing strengths while improving timing, defensive awareness, and overall ring rhythm. After a lengthy absence, rebuilding those instincts has been a major priority. Shields wants Spence to look familiar to longtime fans, but with greater efficiency and precision. The objective is straightforward. Bring back the best version of Errol Spence Jr., only more polished and disciplined.
I've always been a guy that chases the toughest and baddest challenges out there. And when I got presented with Errol, who's undeniably one of the best fighters of this decade, I didn't hesitate and I straight away accepted. I accepted not to compete, but I accepted because I knew that the victory is only on my mind. I know the challenge that is put in front of me. I'm going to work super hard, and I'm coming for it all. And thank you again. Victory is mine.
During a recent media appearance, Tszyu explained why he was eager to accept a fight against a respected opponent like Errol Spence Jr. despite acknowledging Spence's accomplishments and reputation. Tszyu believes he possesses the skills necessary to win. He described a matchup as the type of challenge every elite fighter seeks. For Tszyu, victories over top-level opponents are what separate contenders from champions. He remains confident in the work he has put in and believes this fight presents a perfect opportunity to prove he belongs among boxing's best.
Errol Spence Jr. is making his return after 3 years of being out of the ring against Tszyu. Just what are your thoughts on that fight, and who do you favor?
I don't know, man. It's Al Heyman calling these guys to come back, man, because we needed something up in the sport. This is beautiful. And I'm very honored and grateful to be in the position I'm in while all this is happening. It's a dream come true. Errol Spence, Australia, Tszyu. Heck yeah. I really want to see him win.
Do you think that ring rust is going to play a factor at all with Errol?
I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape now. And when you stay on that trajectory, when you're staying consistently on working out, it's only bound to happen with the sparrings and everything. He'll look great.
One concern frequently raised by analysts involves Tszyu's ability to handle the demands of elite competition over the long term, while others have questioned how fighters adapt when facing opponents with world-class speed and experience. Discussions surrounding weight, conditioning, and competition level continue to fuel debate among boxing fans. Against a proven championship-caliber opponent like Errol Spence Jr., every small detail becomes magnified. Critics believe those unanswered questions could become major factors once the pressure rises. As a result, many observers see this fight as a true measuring stick for both men.
And apparently your opponent didn't have much love to show you. Are you just used to expect respect, like kind of that moment, you know?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I was always brought up to show some sort of respect to your opponent.
Yeah.
But that's all right. It is how it is.
Yeah.
And, doesn't change anything.
Are you surprised he didn't shake your hand?
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. But it's all right.
Now you're mad at yourself. You're not even mad at him. You're mad at yourself.
No. Now I see how it is, you know?
Are you mad at him or are you mad at yourself?
No. I'm always.
You're just mad at
I'm all right. I'm all right. You know, like that's just how I was brought up.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I guess we're all
British
different.
boxing analyst Gareth A. Davies has offered strong prediction heading into the matchup, backing Spence's opponent to face serious difficulties if he cannot handle the speed and precision coming his way. Davies specifically highlighted the dangers posed by sharp timing and explosive offensive combinations. He believes that as the fight progresses, those advantages could become increasingly difficult to overcome. In his view, the later rounds may prove especially challenging if one fighter begins to tire under sustained pressure. It is a prediction that has already sparked significant debate among boxing fans.
What do you see there in Spence that makes you feel that, hey, you know what, I think I can take this guy?
It's a fight that wakes me up, you know? Wakes me up. You know those fights that you'd be like a challenge? Like the Tony Harrison fight for me was like alright, I've got to wake up. This is the fight. And it brings something different in your brain, in your body. You learn more about yourself. You just become a different person, a different animal. And that's another fight that will bring a different animal into me.
Former champion Timothy Bradley has been one of the more outspoken critics when evaluating recent performances and overall development at the highest level of the sport. Bradley argues that experience, ring awareness, and decision-making under pressure remain crucial factors in elite competition, while acknowledging toughness and offensive ability. He believes certain technical weaknesses become more visible against stronger opposition. He has pointed to past performances as evidence that improvements are still needed before reaching the sport's upper tier. For Bradley, natural talent alone is not enough when facing world-class competition.
We all want to see him make a comeback. We don't ever want to see a guy go out bad and not try to come back, because that's what boxers do. I know he took a lot of things into consideration. He even told me when he spoke to a few people about it, and that was a good thing, but I'm glad he made the conscious decision to return. And I think it's a smart return, because it's also against a guy who was on the way up there, who made it to the top, but had some struggles, and now he's on the incline trying to get back up too. So it's two guys trying to get back up. I think it's a great situation. But the biggest thing I gotta say that I love about Errol Spence is that Errol don't want no easy fights. Errol don't want to fight guys that are nobody.
He AKA somebody. No tune-up.
No,
he don't want no
tune-up. He
tune-up.
wants challenges. You understand me? He wants challenges. And for him to challenge a person like Tszyu, when Tszyu has been regularly fighting for the last 3 years, he's been not doing much. That says a lot about Errol, but that tells you exactly how much fight is still left in Errol. Errol is a guy who's always coming to the party to dance. He don't have time to play no games, and you gotta love that.
Bradley also used a previous high-profile fight as an example of the challenges fighters encounter when stepping up in competition. He noted that experienced veterans often expose flaws that may go unnoticed against less demanding opponents. While he credited strategic adjustments and moments of success, he argued that those positives were not sufficient to completely control the contest. Defensive lapses, timing issues, and tactical decision-making remain areas of concern. In Bradley's assessment, consistent success at the championship level requires a more complete skill set than physical strength alone can provide.
Always had respect for Errol Spence because he's a real fighter. You know, he's not a guy that talks a lot, but he brings a big stick to the battle. And you know, when you deal with Errol Spence, you got to bring your lunch pail, because he's going to bring it, and he's nothing to play with. Obviously, being 36 years of age, being off as long as he hasn't had the tune-up fights. And by the way, I need my tune-up. Give me my tune-ups, because boxing is hard. I need my tune-up because I need to sharpen my tools. I want to make another paycheck before I make the big paycheck, but that's just me. I need my tune-ups, but I respect this brother because he's not with the tune-up. And you got to know who you are. If Errol knows that I can't really get up for that guy, then I can only get up for these type of guys. You gotta know yourself. And Errol Spence knows himself. So the respect is always gonna be there for him, and we will unpack this fight as we get closer, because it's not until July 25th, but I'm excited to see him back. I'm excited to see him talking this talk.
Boxing commentator Greg Hackett has strongly favored one side in this matchup, citing superior speed, timing, and counterpunching ability as potential fight-changing advantages. Hackett believes those qualities could become especially effective against an opponent who prefers aggressive forward pressure. He argues that opening up offensively can create opportunities for precise counters. According to his analysis, controlling distance and dictating pace may ultimately decide the outcome. If the favored fighter establishes rhythm early, Hackett believes the contest could become increasingly one-sided as the rounds progress.
Been some rumours floating around a potential Tszyu Errol Spence.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because that's wild if it was to happen.
I think that's a beautiful fight for both guys. You know, I kind of know this from seeing Keith Thurman try to come back after injuries and things like that. Keith didn't want to come back against a no-name, you know, but he didn't want to come back against the biggest names, you know. This is a fight right here where both these guys have significant names. Their in-ring experiences haven't been the best lately, and, you know, truthfully, I think that this could be a 50-50 fight. If anything, I would lean towards Tim, even though he's been through some crashes of his own recently, pun intended. He's still been active, and that's the difference between him and Errol at this point. But I think it's a beautiful fight, 50-50 fight. I think the fight makes a whole lot of sense. Boxing, please make that one happen.
Promoter Eddie Hearn has offered a balanced assessment, suggesting that while there is clear potential, further development may still be necessary before consistently competing with the very best fighters in the world. Hearn emphasized that growth is rarely linear and that valuable experience is gained with each major test. He believes continued improvement in ring intelligence, technical execution, and overall consistency will be critical moving forward. At the same time, he acknowledged the progress already made and the determination shown throughout the journey. In his view, the foundation is there for future success at the highest level. Veteran analysts Simon Jordan and Frank Smith recently weighed in on the upcoming showdown, discussing not only the fight itself, but also the broader conversations surrounding both competitors. Smith acknowledged the challenge ahead, describing the matchup as a major step up in competition and potentially the toughest assignment of a fighter's career. Jordan focused on whether this contest will finally answer lingering questions about championship-level readiness. Both agreed that the stakes could hardly be higher, beyond rankings and titles. This fight may determine how each boxer is viewed moving forward in the sport.